welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time, I feel like, since I've been able to do a live stream. Today we are doing the sun. It's not Sunday, but it's nice today. I don't know what others are going to do tomorrow. So I'm going to hopefully get some good frames of the sun today. I'm using my ZWO AM5N mouse. I didn't feel like dragging out the CGX today because it's heavy, and I just have it. I have a Coronado PST hydrogen alpha telescope riding on it, and I'm just using a ZWO ASI 174mm monochrome camera. So let's get started. So you can see the sun here. I'm gonna try to get it more centered. Let's see if we can. Maybe. Maybe not. Hold on. All right, let's get that back centered again. So unfortunately, this camera cannot fit the full disc of the sun. Usually I'd use my 1600, which is a little bit larger chip, but I can get more frames with this camera, a little bit faster, so we can get some good views. Let's see, it's a little bit windy out, so there's some turbulence going on in the atmosphere, making it kind of wobbly, but we can get past that. All right, so I'm going to mess a little bit with the exposure. So I'll show you guys a little bit different things here. Just using the, I guess you can call it stock ZWO ASI cap software. I think it's super easy. I don't know, some people prefer fire capture and all that other stuff, but I just like using. Let's see. So let's get a little bit more centered here. Some of that detail. It's kind of drifting. Oh well. Let's check the focus. So unfortunately, with this focuser on this telescope, if you move it, it tends to shift the image a little bit. All right, so let's do I had to do 1,000. 2 minutes worth. Actually, that might be 12. Let's do 2 minutes. So what I'm doing is taking a video of the sun with this camera. I can take, it's doing 64 frames per second with the video. So what I'll do is I'll stack these in software, and basically what it's doing is picking out, the best looking frames from the video, and including the bad ones. It's basically taking like snapshots of, the sun instead of using the entire video, and then get more detail. And as I say in all my videos, monochrome, you're getting all of the detail instead of wasting some of the RGB pixels. I think 2 minutes might have been too long. Ten seconds left. My eyes are watering today. So setting up this AM5 is a lot faster than getting the CGX set up. It's way longer. I can basically just carry it with one hand. Alright, so it looks like that video is done. And like I like to do for you guys, so is apply some false sun color on here. This will not show up, I'm sure, but this is basically just to show you some contrast and what it would, I don't know, it just makes it easier to look at it. There you go. And always remember that the sun is actually white. So having this be black and white, not exactly that far off. Yeah. So the reason that we see color on Earth is that because the sun appears white to us because it is a combination of all of the colors that appears white. And in the evening, when the sun is low on the horizon, it appears red because you're basically seeing all the red light coming back through the atmosphere, and the blue light is kind of scattered. Probably not exactly explaining that correctly, but that's why you're seeing all the red in the atmosphere. Anyway, so let's get this recentered again. So there is a prominence. I don't know why my so watery. Probably because it's bright. So a little bit about the sun, as I always do in my videos, for people I haven't heard before. So these dark spots are sunspots. Great name for it. These are actually cooler parts of the sun, and they just appear dark just because they're. I mean, it's still really bright just compared to the rest of it. It just makes it look dark. It's kind of the opposite thing with like the moon. I mean, the moon really is not that, bright colored in itself, but it disappears bright when obviously the sun is reflecting off of it, just because against the blackness of the night sky, it just appear incredibly bright. So it's kind of the opposite thing going on here. Everything else around it is super bright, so therefore cooler spots look darker. And these spots here, these are called filaments, which is basically just the, prominences that are fitting us directly. So if we just call it filaments, it's just imagine it coming out toward you. Looks like spot. I looked at the solar sun satellites. I thought I saw a flight coming through here, so I'm gonna up the exposure or the gain, maybe. See if we can expose those. Oh yeah. So when I do my sun pictures, I tend to do the surface detail, and then I brighten the exposure to get the prominences that come through. So I'm going to do a short run on that before, let's do probably a minute. Let's get the sun back over where it needs to be. A little bit of room for tone. Okay. And run. I'm gonna have my diet go. I spent most of my morning this morning out picking dandelions out of my yard. Front yard looks good, and then the boulevard looks terrible. Oh well. Dandelions are bad this year. Hopefully my battery does not. Oh my gosh, I'm tired of my eyes watering. What the heck? Alright. Alright, that is done. So let's see what else is going on the sun. I thought there's bigger prominences going on, but maybe not. Oh yeah, there's. Oh wow. Alright. Ow. Peter's getting kind of hot, guys. Alright, let's do another minute here. Oh my gosh, what is the deal? This I was about to point at the computer with my finger. That doesn't work. So these are solar prominences, basically just what's the word? Gas and sun material, plasma. Shooting basically off into space from the sun, but there's so many magnetic fields on the sun. It goes every which direction, which is why the sun is so turbulent, because it just spins sun's, lower at the top and in the bottom, so it's faster in the middle. So it's always doing something. So these magnetic field lines just, pull stuff back down to Earth, so there can be like loops of plasma. And it can go thousands of kilometers out into space. Yeah. Sometimes a few Earths tall. It's actually quite crazy. So people might ask, how is it that I am able to take pictures of the sun in such detail if the sun is so far away? Well, even though the sun is on average about 93 million miles away from Earth, it's also, a couple thousand times the width of the Earth. Don't quote me on that. So you can just imagine Earth, clear across. So with it being that big, it wouldn't be difficult, or is not difficult, to get detail on the sun, despite it being that far away. And it's 400 times away from Earth than the moon is, and also 400 times larger. So I think that's what I was wanting to say, something like that. So basically, that's why the moon and the sun appear to be the same apparent size in the sky. So yeah. So it's not like people might say we're zooming in on the sun, but that's we're not zooming in. We're I like zooming in like with your phone. It's I can't remember where it is right now, but basically the optics are making the sun appear larger. Yeah. All right. So it looks like hopefully some good pictures here. I guess I'll step down the exposure so I can get surface detail. I think it's getting kind of warm. Only I had a charger, which I do. All right, so I'm gonna get, what was it? Let's do 2 minutes again on the surface detail. Let that run. Oh my gosh. That hanging. All right, so that appeared to be done. 43 seconds left. You'd think that the sun would be super easy to find with the telescope, but it is not. Luckily, on my Coronado, there's like a little indicator, that basically shows as a dot when the sun is in the objective. Oh, so you can't look at the sun. Don't look at the sun without proper protection. I have like binoculars that I can use from Celestrum that are pretty cool. Basically the same size as my telescope as far as aperture goes. But that's just for white. So this telescope that I'm using is a hydrogen alpha telescope, which is basically just showing the hydrogen wavelengths of the light spectrum coming from the sun. Because obviously the sun uses hydrogen atoms to, what is it, helium? Heavier elements, let's call it. So we see that light, but obviously the sun is so bright that we just see the white light coming off of it. It's my eyes today, I don't know. So we have to have the scope be incredibly dark to filter out all that energy. So basically, it's filtering down that hydrogen alpha wavelength of light. It's really annoying. Much better view than just for a white light telescope, which is also kind of cool because then you can see kind of the finer detail of this without all the other stuff going on. But I like my hydrogen telescope. Sometimes it's fun to just look at it through an eyepiece instead of with a camera, because then you get to see, quote, kind of a reddish tint color, which I have a preview of on my Instagram page from a couple years ago. So it's interesting just to look at it through the telescope itself. Just to know, like, I understand people say, "Oh, that's a computer-generated image, or it's AI." Well, it's not AI. Technically, it's CGI because we're literally on a computer. Most pictures are computer-generated. It's just a camera. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't catch any birds yet today going in front of the objective. I was hoping to see. Sometimes I even forget. I'm hoping to catch a airplane. When I was picking weeds, I saw a huge airplane going over. Definitely wasn't a 747 because it didn't have like the 4 engine. It just had the 2, but it was huge, and it kind of looked like Lufthansa's new paint color scheme. I imagine it was probably an Airbus 380 or A380. Yeah. So I think I have all my exposures now. So I think I'm just going to kind of peruse the sun. I'm always confused at what direction to move the toggle here. I don't know if there's anything coming off the sides per se. Let's do. Let's go back down to the bottom. Oh gosh, you'd think I remember so much. Like, okay, let's see if we can get more of the. No, not much going on here. Okay. I think sometimes I enjoy capturing the sun more than deep sky stuff, because the sun is literally changing all the time. it rotates like every couple of days. You can see the other side. I was surprised to see sunspot clear up at the top there. Oh my gosh, alright. Sure wish I had some questions going in, but I don't. Alright. Just to prove that this is a real live view. Put my hand in front of the scope here. Oh. Ooh. See that? Ow. Moving around. And these real folks. This exists. Anyone know what the Parker probe is to lately? We heard a lot of it, and then all of a sudden we just haven't. So, did they finally crash it into the sun, or what happened to it? If anyone knows, let me know. Then again, I can just look it up. But what fun is that? All right. Maybe my lovely wife can bring my power strip. Right. Well, my computer is about to go kaput because I didn't bring my power strip out because I don't know if my battery can handle it. Could be. So I think I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to see if. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna. I think I'm gonna call it good for today. Doesn't look like anyone joined, but it is okay. Anyone who watches this video later, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, the weather will start to improve. I say that every year. And we can do more. But until then, thanks for watching.